This is a solution video to question 8, paper 2 from the TMUA 2020 exam. So the question here is about a student who's asked to prove whether this statement here is true or false. The statement is that for all real numbers x and y, the absolute value of x plus y is less than the absolute value of x plus the absolute value of y. Then we're told the student gives the following proof to this task. So first, the student states that the statement is false, and then gives a counterexample with x equals 3 and y equals 3, and justifies it by saying that the absolute value of 3 plus 4 is 7, and the absolute value of 3 plus the absolute value of 4 is also 7, but we know that the statement 7 less than 7 is false. And then we're given the following options, which describes the proof. So we want to know whether the proof is true or false, and whether this proof is correct or incorrect. And if it's incorrect, we want to give the correct reason why it's not valid. So let's look at this question. So the first thing to do is we want to examine whether the proof of the student is correct or not. So to do that, we're going to have to look at each statement that the student gives and check whether each statement is true. So the first statement they give is the saying that x equals 3 and y equals 4 is a counterexample. So we need to check whether these statements here are all true. So let's look at the counterexample. So we want to look at this, whether this x equals 3 and y equals 4 is actually a counterexample. So let's look at each statement. So the first statement is the absolute value of 3 plus 4 equals 7. Now, this is definitely true because 3 plus 4 is 7, and the absolute value of a positive number is 7 as well. So this statement is true, and 1 does imply this. The next statement is about the absolute value of 3 plus the absolute value of 4. And that is indeed the absolute value of 3 is 3, so the absolute value of 4 is 4, so 3 plus 4 is 7, so this statement is also true, and 1 does imply this. And then finally, these two statements here, combined with what the statement star is saying. So the statement star is saying that 7 is less than 7, and that is false. And the statement that 7 is less than 7 is a false statement, is a true statement. So this statement here is true. So that means that x equals 3 and y equals 4 is a valid counterexample, because x equals 3 and y equals 4 gives an example of values of x and y where this statement here is not true. So that means this is a valid counterexample, so the proof is correct. So our answer must be E, statement is false and the student proof is correct.